Welcome back here to Fox and Friends on this Saturday morning. Well, it's been 1 year since the start of President Obama's health care plan, and the opposition is actually growing now. A recent Rasmussen poll found that 62% of Americans want the law repealed. Just 33% support it. The GOP hoping to use this momentum to repeal that law. And Iowa Republican Congressman Stephen King joins us from Des Moines, sort of leading that charge. Congressman, nice to see you this morning.
It's nice to see you this morning. If I could, it's nice to be here, I should say, instead.
That's all right. We'll get you a monitor next time. No, you don't need to see me anyway. You're leading the charge on all of this, and one of the things you're saying about the health care law is now is the time to work on rolling this back. Why now? Some critics say you guys don't have the votes, of course, so now doesn't seem like the right time.
Well, you have to fight the battle when you have the chance to do so. We have the maximum leverage now. The continuing resolution that funds all the functions of government for the duration of this fiscal year is the highest leverage. And I want to put the language on that continuing resolution that says that no funds in this bill and no funds previously appropriated shall be used to implement or enforce Obamacare. And we need to put the president in a position where he has to make the decision on whether he would shut down all the functions of government in order to preserve Obamacare, or whether he would accept the idea that it's unconstitutional, America has rejected it, and keeping this government functioning is the right thing to do.
Right, so this amendment would effectively roll back over $105 billion in some of these appropriations, basically defunding them. But many conservatives argue that this isn't the way to go. In fact, some conservatives say if you defund it, it's sort of like having a ship, getting rid of all the deck chairs, cutting out the guts of it, but the ship is still going to sail.
Well, I'm happy to go ahead and sink the boat, you know. But we have to do what we can do within the resources that we have. We have already passed the repeal of Obamacare, H.R. 2, and sent that over to the Senate. Harry Reid took it up so that he could vote it down. And now we need to shut off the funding, the automatically implemented funding that you mentioned, which is a deceptive way of legislating. If we shut off all funding in the same way that they shut off all funding to the Vietnam War under a continuing resolution very similar to this one, nothing happens to implement it, and then we must win the presidency in 2012 and ask that president to sign the repeal. And I want that to happen on January 20th of 2013, right after the president swears into office.
All right, you're at the Conservative Principals Conference today. You're hosting that event. What do you hope to accomplish, and what sorts of things will we hear out there in Iowa today?
Well, we're going to talk about American exceptionalism. We'll be talking about those underpinnings of American exceptionalism, such as Judeo-Christianity, free enterprise capitalism, Western civilization, those things that come together to make America the unchallenged greatest nation in the world. And so one of the subjects that will come up will be the repeal of Obamacare, the tactics that we will use, and we're going to measure the commitment of the presidential candidates. But we'll talk about this economy, too, jobs in the economy, the constitutional underpinnings of this country, the future of America, and I'm hopeful that we will hear from multiple presidential candidates today that they will define for us their vision of American destiny. I haven't heard enough of that, and I'm looking forward to today very much.
Well, you guys will be making news all weekend. We'll play a lot of that sound this weekend here on Fox and Friends. Representative Steve King, thanks for joining us bright and early out there from Des Moines this morning.
Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Coming up here on the show, some states want to tax